Hello, amazing people. My name is Elizabeth Giles, coming to you from the Stampin' Unicorns. Today I am discussing the My Meadow framed thank you card here. It is part of a video series for the My Meadow stamp set. Here is the card that we will be discussing today. And then the stamp sets that we're using, My Meadow, which is in the mini catalog, the January through June for 2020. You can see all the different shading in that. And then the Here's a Card stamp set, which is in our annual catalog right now. So 2019 through 2020. All of these different amazing sayings. So these are our featured products. Let's go ahead and get stamping, guys. So first we're going to start with our dimensions. And here we have terracotta tile. This is one of our in colors. So our card base is 5.5 by 8.5. We'll just go ahead and fold this right in half while we have it here. And we're just going to use our bone folder and burnish the edge. This will give it a nice straight edge. All right. So let's go ahead and finish our other dimensions just so you guys can all get the dimensions. Now here is a piece of Coastal Cabana paper, 5.5 by 4.25. And so it's just 1/4 of a piece of paper, and you can see I have my frames here. So we are using the rectangle, the stitched frame, or the stitched dies. This is how it comes, and we are actually going to use the 2nd and the 4th. So we're skipping one here, okay? So then our other piece of paper here, and I have to adjust my my PDF file because this is actually a 1/2 inch smaller. So it's 4.5 by 3.25. And then we have just another piece of Whisper White. This is 5.125 by 3 inches, and that's going to be for our saying. So let's go ahead and put this stuff off to the side. Now the first thing we're going to do is stamp right on our card base around the edge. Now we are going to use the tulips. So this is the petals that go onto the tulips, but we are just going to use it to make a border all the way around. Now, instead of me stamping this all the way around, by magic, I have one already done. All right, so you can see we're just doing the outside edge because everything else will get covered up. Now that we have that stamped, we're going to go ahead and set this off to the side. Next, we're going to go ahead and stamp our scenery. Now we have some amazing colors. I wanted it to be bright. So for our stream, we are using Coastal Cabana. And you will want to start with the stream first. And you want to make sure that it's down far enough in your scene here that you'll still be able to put your saying across the top. All right. Next, we're going to use the larger splotch. And this is going to be part of our grass. We are using Granny Apple Green, and with this one we're going to stamp off and then bring it in. Now you'll want the edge that's longer to coincide up with the river, and look at that. And then we're going to use the wider splotch and doing the same thing. So Granny Apple Green, we're going to stamp off, and this one you're going to use the fat edge and just bring it right in there. And it's okay if you overlap it a little bit, right? The shores on your stream aren't going to be perfect. Okay, next we're going to bring in our bridge. Now this is getting stamped in early espresso. And I kind of wanted it so that the bridge looked like you would be walking up it this way. So I brought down the one edge, just a tad little bit there. And then this lovely gazebo. I've always wanted a gazebo. So when I saw this in there, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. All right. And I just re-inked my early espresso, so you necessarily wouldn't get that variegated pattern in there. But it does look cool nonetheless. All right, now we're going to bring in the rest of our scenery. So we used the tulips before. We're going to use the tulips again. Now we're going to stamp in full strength for our tulip leaves. And we're just going to bring it in here wherever you think we need some tulips. Kind of bring that out to the edge. And then you just line those up. And they're not perfect. It is supposed to look like a watercolory kind of scene. Look at that. Now we have this itty bitty grass. There you go. And on the other side of it, I have an itty bitty rock. So we're just going to bring this in, add a little dimension, just wherever. And then the rock we're going to stamp in the early espresso as well. So, and there are 2 different, maybe even 3 different sizes of rocks in your thing. So if you have like a wider space that you want to cover up, you can use the larger rocks. Okay, so that's all we have for our scene. So let's go ahead and we're going to glue this right onto our card front. I know it's kind of scary, right? Now this alone isn't like a wow factor, but I loved the way the scene looked. So as I was doing this, I'm like, oh, I could mat it, but that still wasn't giving me the wow. So we decided to make the frame out of the Coastal Cabana. That will bring out the stream. And so when I was using my die cutting machine, I just lined them up and used the washi tape to keep them in line. And then when you peel this off, so if you want to do multiples, you have that together yet. Now this outside piece, I don't really need for this project, but you might want to save it for another project. The inside, this is going to go in the inside. So let's go ahead and stamp this guy right away. And we're just using our tulips just to add a little color. And then the inside saying is, oh, the outside saying says thank you. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I just like splotched myself. Okay. So the inside saying, or the outside saying says thank you for being my friend. And the inside says I can't begin to count all the times we've laughed together. How nice, right? So let's set this guy aside. Now here we have the frame. All we have to do is give it a little dimension. So we're going to go ahead and add our mini dimensionals all the way around the outside. And I wanted to add, I know it's quite a bit. I mean, I added 8 of them here, but you really want to make sure it's sturdy enough. So let's go ahead and peel these off and add this frame. Now the thing I like about this is you can put anything you want inside of this frame and it's just going to make it pop. So we're trying to make that stream pop because everybody likes to either sit by water, play in water, whatever it may be. And now look at that, like just instantly, it just adds a whole nother dimension. All right, so the last thing we have to stamp is going to be our outside saying. And we're just using Coastal Cabana on this Whisper White. And it just says, thank you for being my friend. And we're going to use our paper snips. And actually, I want to make that a little shorter. So we're going to come right down the middle. And then come in from each edge to snip in towards that. And voila, you have the perfect little banner. This guy's going to get some dimensionals as well. And we can just throw whatever size that we grab here on there. And that's going to get tucked under there. So you can kind of gauge to see. So that was sticking out. So I want to just trim that. And that's the nice thing. Like no rhyme or reason, just whatever you like. Okay, and now for the finishing touches, right? We're going to add our in color faceted dot, and we're just taking the little one right here and just going to poke that right up in there. So that'll bring in the color of our flowers, and then the inside saying. So we already have that stamped. We're just going to adhere it. And this too is nice because if you mess up on the saying, then you don't have to put it in. It's easy peasy. But this will make it all coordinate together as well. So there you go. The My Meadow framed thank you card. All right. So remember to check out the rest of the videos in this series. My name is Elizabeth Giles with Stamping Unicorns, and make every creation unique. Thank you.